everybody. This is Francesco Abbruzzino with The Scoop. Okay, and we are live. Decided to go live. I was caught up. Probably won't be live over the next 2 days because I have a ton of work to do. Well, at least till the next day. A lot of news out there, different issues that have popped up. I'm going to share this real quick to just give people time to pop in. So give me a second just to share it on a couple pages and we will be good to go. I am opening the phone line up early. If you guys want to call in, you can call in. It's up there, 941-882-0146 is the number. It's just a one-liner, so if you call, it's busy, well, try calling again when you see me hang up on the live session. Maybe I won't get any calls. Who knows what will go on. You can talk about any of the news subjects. Sometimes I'll cover national. How about national, huh? I was just listening to a report where this lady, this Dr. Ford, wrote several papers on MK Ultra with DARPA, if anybody's familiar with that, which I'm assuming most of you guys aren't. But it's basically mind control and getting people to recess their memories, to remember stuff that possibly wasn't there, and it's pretty deep, intense stuff, and there's a lot of different things. If you Google MK Ultra, you'll hear a lot of interesting information out there on it. So I was just listening to a report on that, which I thought was interesting. I thought I would share. Now, in regards to Sarasota, let me go ahead and get you guys on this split screen here. Not sure how good it'll come in. I looked the other day and it looked pretty crappy. But this guy, first report, I just put this out there. I think I saw this guy earlier, and he's a sex offender. You know what's wrong with these freaking sick people? This guy's sex offense at the federal level: possession of visual depictions of a minor engaged in sexually explicit conduct. Back in 2015, and now he's in your neighborhood. If you're in Sarasota, over at the Overlook Bend, is that Bend? BND Villas, number 20. And I got to think, number 20 Villas, unless it's retirement, there might be kids there, so hopefully people are watching out for this idiot. Don't understand what gets in these guys' heads. Yeah, we got a ton of them here. We have far too many of them in the area. I get these FDLE reports on a regular basis. A lot of times it's just them moving around. I could have sworn I've seen this guy somewhere before, though. So always concerning. Aaron Carver for possession of material. Who else we had here? This was an interesting story. I just read about it. Let me see. I don't think that screen's popping up that good for you guys, so I'm not going to put you through that. This is a Sarasota woman. She's looking for some boys out there that tried to help her. I listened partially to it, and I read the story. It was pretty interesting. She fell. She felt some overwhelming pain. I think that's an oxygen thing around her neck. And they came up, they helped her, and now they're trying to find the kids to say, hey, thanks a lot. I really appreciate everything you've done for me, which she'll probably find. It was a story WWSB put out, and then I went ahead and picked up too. So I'm sure with all that attention out there, they're gonna find her, whoever she is, and she can tell the boys, hey, thanks a lot. I really appreciate everything you did. Something that just came out that I haven't even posted yet is that over in Northport, there's this park there that it's a Dallas White Park, and I was actually out there. I think I did an interview out there. Well, it's a lot of people go there, and there's a kayak launch ramp there, and that's going to remain open, but the boat ramp aspect of it, they're closing down to the public. They're going to do some enhancement that the city's going out there to improve access to it and access to the canal system that's right there. Can't remember who I think I interviewed a political candidate that's running for office. Again, if you want to call in, 941-882-0146. Some of the other stuff that's out there that's happening today, mosquitoes. I covered yesterday, I think it was yesterday, West Nile virus, and how there's, I think 17, I'm not sure if it's 17 cases, I can't remember specifically, or 17 findings of West Nile, and there was a high West Nile count in Sarasota County. Also in Charlotte, Manatee, but Sarasota was very high. It's on my site. If you type West Nile in at this little search bar at the top left-hand bar, it'll come up. And I just thought to myself, and I think I opined on it yesterday, is you don't see a lot of spraying. Now, I'm not a big fan of the spraying. I don't want all those chemicals in me. I don't really ever go outside to experience the mosquito attacks, but from what I hear, they're pretty aggressive, and it's pretty bad out there, and you rarely see the spraying. And I said something once, and they said, well, you're only looking at what we put on Twitter and sharing that. So then I went to their actual page, and I'm like, well, there's not much of a difference. And they did put out something today. They're hitting up the Sarasota area in 2 areas. They're scheduling it over by University and Parkway between there and Bee Ridge, and then that's what they call R1 zone. And R2, the second area, is going to be Twin Lakes area over by Clark, which actually is zone 4, R4, according to what they said on there. So whenever I see them, I try to put them out there, but I got to tell you, they're not that great at the spraying. And you would think, with West Nile being out in the area, call me crazy, I would think they'd spray a little bit more. But again, what do I know, right? What do any of us know about that subject? FDLE, this was interesting. There was this grand theft conspiracy in 15 counties, basically throughout Florida, where they went out and served these warrants against this guy out of Sanford. Actually, a couple of them out of Orlando, basically, where they were going out and committing some grand theft operations at the Home Depots, and it involved a few in Sarasota County, Manatee County, and so we shared that out there. They basically said that they would sell the items online after getting them. They ended up getting quite a lot of money out there. So kudos to FDLE for being on the ball with that bust there. Got a little bit of attention. You look at, there's this thing now, you can see how many people clicked the actual article and gone into it and read it a little bit, which it gives you a good idea of how many people are actually reading the articles. And then you look at the engagements and stuff, and it's this new format that Facebook has on your pages, and you can see how many people are going through. Because what I've noticed, and you didn't have a good indicator on there until right now. Yeah, it's a little bit of, it's not a great indicator, but it's a better indicator. And you would see that most people are just headline readers, and you could primarily tell it just by how they would comment in the box. And a lot of times I would put a headline on my articles that I write. I would put a headline, and you could tell based upon the headline who had not read the article and their comments. And then the people that are reading it are looking at the comments like I am, thinking, these guys are freaking idiots. They're on this public page opining, thinking they're brilliant because they just put in this ridiculous slam. They come on and they're keyboard badasses, and they'll type something real quick up just to get a dig on someone, to get someone pissed off, and, the typical troll activity. And then they don't realize, oh, God, I look like an idiot because I didn't read the freaking article, and what I'm saying on here is totally off base. Northport put out, they wanted everyone to know that the city clerk that retired, they had a new one in there, Katie Pito. She's taken over the job. She was serving as the deputy clerk since 2017, and so she's going to be taking over as the city clerk. And that's the scoop on that one down there in Northport. The city-based code, this is something you don't see a lot of, and you don't get a lot of notifications. And this one thing that I like about social media that's put it more out there, not 2 shares, not a lot of shares on it. One, I think, was from me, but it's basically how the city of Sarasota is going in and looking at changing the wide code, city-wide code for zoning. And so it's important, and you would think more people would read it, but a lot of times these emails get ignored, and people just don't pay attention to them. Kind of like, I think I put it out yesterday. I don't know if I covered it. Maybe I'll cover it today, where Mike Rafferty, he writes me a lot. He's a resident here in Venice, and he was part of that coalition that was trying to find someone to replace one of the candidates that were going to run unopposed, and they couldn't find someone because they were looking for someone that would be pro-consolidation and push that whole aspect. Somebody did step up, but not through their initiative. Helen Moore did, and she's more along the lines of pro-developer in my mind from everything I've seen on her. But Mike Rafferty was before the city council, I think on Tuesday at their last meeting, pushing the consolidation. I remember I've talked to Mike on email a lot of times because we communicate. And I told him, he said, I don't know if Hollick's going to be on board. And because he said, we will not revisit this again as long as I'm in office, and his term ends next year. And I said, please, I know John, and I know he will pursue it. He's wanted it, blah, blah, blah. And we went into all that stuff, and we talked about a lot of the hurdles because he's been on the resident committee that looks at the consolidation, and that's where I was getting a lot of information. He would say, this is what we covered today. This is where they want to go with the consolidation. Can you put this information out for the public? It will save millions. There's a few concerns with it when you look at this whole consolidation. And sorry, I'm getting stuck here on the Venice thing. It'll save millions of dollars. The response shouldn't be that bad because basically you're going through what the county response. A lot of people right now are on unincorporated and they use Sarasota County Fire. And they got a pretty good response time. And if you want a good idea of the response time, you can just look at 911 when it shifted from Venice over to the county, a couple years ago. You didn't see much of a change. The transition was pretty smooth. So you're going to see this, and basically they're just going to pick up. The Venice fire will remain where they're at. You're basically, there might be some downgrading in the amount of manpower. Maybe there'll be some upgrading, but you're essentially going to keep what you have. They're going to transition stuff around a little bit. The only real concern most residents would be the calling in. Now, another concern I had, and I could never get a legitimate answer from Hollick or anyone, is on taxes. Because generally speaking, if you're going to, there's a fire fee at the county level. And Venice doesn't want to incorporate a fire fee. The residents don't want it, which is actually a tax. So this is one of the reasons they're looking at consolidation again. So as residents of the city, if you go to the county, you're going to be faced with that county fee. So in turn, you are going to get that tax hike. And I asked about the city of Venice. I said, well, if we're going to the county and we're going to have to pay this fire fee tax increase, since the city's no longer providing that service, are we going to get a tax decrease because part of our taxes pay that? And they said no, because right now we're not meeting budget numbers because we've spent frivolously. They didn't say it that way. And so no, you're not. So basically, your taxes aren't going to go down with the city of Venice, but they are going to go up at the county. So what's the difference if you raise my taxes here at the city of Venice and we keep it under the city, or if we go to the county and you raise my taxes that way? Now that won't be portrayed out to the public, but that's basically how I view it. And if that's the case, do I really want it? I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, why go through all that? I'm not going to benefit much from it. It might help the city some, and they might have more money to spend frivolously, but I'd rather make them better managers of their money. What say you guys? This is a good topic. Now, no one's calling in. 941-882-0146. You guys are all vocal on Facebook, but not on the phone calls. What are some other stuff that we see out there? So that's the city of Sarasota. I wish more people would pay attention to that. And most people are like, well, I don't care. And then they bitch and complain when, it's just like politics. I don't care about the politics. And then they bitch and complain when the politicians get in. Right now you have Helen Moore going against Fred Fraze. Nobody ran against Coturro in the city of Venice. Guarantee you most people don't go to the debates. They don't look at what they're for, what they stand for, or any of that stuff. And most people may not even vote, unfortunately. And the same goes for the county level. Everybody was bitching about overdevelopment, about being in the pockets of the developers. Yet they went with someone like Chris Ziegler over in Alexandria Co. They went with Al Mayo over Lord Ramirez. And I had to register as a Republican because I want to vote in these primaries now. At the time of the election, I was NPA, non-party association. But I would, in both those cases, I would have voted, well, Alexandria Coe is a Republican. I would have voted for her, and I did. I would have voted for Lord Ramirez, who's a Republican, too. But in this coming up, you got Boggs. Now it goes to primary, and you got Boggs against Mayo. Mayo, the Republican, Boggs, the Democrat. I don't know much about Boggs, so I want to learn more about her, but I know a lot about Mayo, and I'm not a huge fan of him. And then you got Ziegler going against Ruda. I like a lot of what I hear Ruda say. Chris, he doesn't know too much. The other day, a week ago, he wanted to go out and have me educate him on the whole concern with the outflow pipes, and so that bugs me. Whereas Ruda's been doing her homework on it, and so right now I'm leaning towards Ruda because Chris just isn't impressing me. However, with this is where that single member district comes in, where it's something that like El Mayo doesn't want. It's going on the ballot, and it's a single member district for Sarasota County. And what happens is right now you get a county candidate, and they run for office. Everybody within, you can only run if you live in that area. Like right now, El Mayo's up. I can't run for that position because I'm actually 2 or 3 blocks away from where his territory ends. We're under Hines here. And so El Mayo, he's running for that area, and so is this Wesley Boggs lady. And anybody within the county can vote for him. So when we go to the polls on the general election in November, any one of us will vote on which county commissioner in both county commission races. There's 2 of them right now for Sarasota County. Now, with single member district, it won't go that way. Under single member district, it falls under only the individuals that live in the area that you're allowed to run under. So let's take Hines. Hines, I think he's term limited in 2 years. Okay, so his area is Venice, I believe some in Northport, Inglewood. I can't remember all the areas. Only if they pass this initiative, only someone in that area can run. Actually, without passing it, that's the case anyways. Then once it passes, only the people in the Venice, Inglewood, Northport, whichever areas that covers can vote for that person. So you get rid of a lot of the black money, dark money. You get a lot of the special interests, and that's the whole idea behind it. Now, a lot of these individuals aren't for that. A lot of the people that are taking in a lot of this PAC money are not fans of it because it takes away their power structure. And so interesting stuff like that, but most of you guys don't pay attention. So I don't know why I'm covering it. You're probably like, shut the fuck up. All right, 941-882-0146 if anyone wants to call in. And the next one is the scientists suspect spilling into the Gulf from the Lake Okeechobee is intensifying the red tide. Now, I think that got a lot of clicks and people reading it yesterday. I was a little befuddled by it too. Shared it again today, and it looks like it's still active again today with a huge engagement and reach area on it. I think all of us have known that. I mean, sometimes I wonder what these scientists are doing. Is their head up their ass? What are they doing to finally, what led them to finally deduce that Okeechobee and the outflow from that, the algae that's spewing out from that is intensifying and aggravating red tide? Because, I got my degree. It's in business management. I got some towards my MBA. So I'm not the smartest guy out there. But I think I'm smart enough to realize, and I did realize months ago, that Okeechobee had an impact on it. Not sure where these guys have been at, sleeping on the job. Not sure what the deal is with them, to be honest with you. And then, I think they've already said that the the pollution outflows that we have everywhere are aggravating the situation. Now, along those lines, too, we did get another $300 million from old Scott. Rick Scott stepped up, and I think he probably put out the $300 million because he's under a lot of pressure from everybody for not doing enough. And again, I focus on he's done a lot more in the last few months than Nelson. Nelson's been there 40 years. He hasn't done anything. Rick Scott's been there 8 years. He hasn't done anything. They both basically really suck. Northport looking for an individual that robbed an unoccupied dwelling. I'll share that a little bit later. But we got another $300 million, and that's to go towards water quality. And one thing that has stemmed from this too, and it gives you hope that after red tide is gone and everybody's moved on to better things, better horizons, is that the focus will still be there, because you got a lot of groups that are coming out of this whole initiative. You have the Hands Along the Water group. They're getting a nonprofit. You have another one that I saw on that John Heim page where they came on and said she's leaving, starting a nonprofit, but she's not taking any of you with her. And then I lost the feed because the page updated. But you're getting a lot of people that care about the quality of the water that are doing stuff. And it was interesting. I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast from last night. I was listening today. and he was covering something I already knew, but it's always interesting how Nestle, they couldn't take the water directly out of Michigan, and so they found a way to intercept the water before it essentially hits the lake. And they were covering how it's the biggest scam out there, where they fill up these bottles and sell it to us at a price that's higher than gasoline, yet the water levels have dropped significantly in Lake Michigan because of Nestle's operations. And so this all goes along with that quality of water and trying to ensure that we have groups and special interests, if you will, lobbyists out there lobbying for the residents that really want. We don't want to pay more than gas to get a plastic water in a plastic water that's nothing but chemicals, like I have right here, unfortunately, and all that good stuff. So sorry, someone caught my script. So I just had I get these alerts all day. They drive me crazy. Venice Hospital, they had a rally yesterday. I forgot to go out there. They invited me, but you guys, next time, they invited me like somebody did a week ago, and I forgot about it. So you got to do it the day of, generally, for me to remember. And they're out there protesting Venice Hospital. A lot of stuff has come out, not only the zoning request, that now they want to go 85 feet, so they want to, I think it's at 30 some odd feet now. There's concern with the flooding, with some of the trees that are going to be lost, with the traffic, because it's going to significantly pick up, and nobody wants to pay for that 2-lane road, which will have to be expanded to 4 lanes. Their entrance will be right across the street from this residence that's up there on my screen. And so they're out there and they're doing the protest. And besides that, now you're coming across some of the financial stuff, where the Chicons had to come in and buy up a major piece of the parent company because they were in such bad financial straits. And then you tack on this huge $236 million suit that they lost because of inappropriate billing and referring out to physicians. And you just got to think, what the hell? And again, guys, this is a rebuild. I see all these idiots out there that say, we need our hospital, we need a hospital. It's a rebuild, and you're getting less beds. You're not getting a brand new hospital in addition to the Venice one. Give me a break. We got a new low out there. Let me go back to this screen. Hold on one second. We'll get you guys over there. We got a new low, and I was just watching a report on there. Not much has changed about it. They're concerned it has a 20% chance of doing something, and as you can see from that map, it's almost directly right towards us with the directional arrow right there. So if it progresses, I think most they're talking about is some rain and water and stuff with it. Not expecting a lot of bad weather or hurricane level 5 stuff. Some people that may be concerned, though, are these Mayaca folks with the flooding, because these pictures are current pictures, I believe, that the city sent out, and I wasn't aware that we were getting that much rain. Now, I went out there, I think, last year after Irma, and there was some tremendous flooding. It always floods out there, and that's why there was a lot of concern with the development. And I think Mike Cecil, if you're listening out there, he shared a picture of the woods where Neil went in and cleared all the trees out there, and then they ended up selling it to another developer. Not sure who the other developer is. And that picture was on my wall. He posted it on my wall, but we couldn't find it, so he was able to take a screenshot of it and send it to me, and I shared it. If Michael doesn't know, I noticed on the city server email today that City Councilman Bob Daniels shared that from my Facebook page and put the link up there and shared it on the server to the other council members and mayor and stuff like that, which I'm sure Hollick enjoys. And I'm sure this lady Lorraine enjoys, because she can't stand me. Their media person there at the city. But these are current pictures of Mayaca, and as you can see, they're getting flooded out again. So I'm not sure where that is. If that's over by Schnookhaven, Laurel Road. No, so it's not Schnookhaven. Schnookhaven. People always say, why do you say Schnookhaven? All right, call-in number, if anyone's out there, 941-882-0146. The alert, I think we've talked about it a few times. They wanted to test the alert. I didn't get my call. I thought it was tomorrow. Somebody said it was, weren't we supposed to get it a couple weeks ago? That's what I thought, Patty, when I shared this, if you're listening. and I didn't get it. But then I thought I saw someone say I got it yesterday. I think it's supposed to come tomorrow. There's my crazy daughter and her friends out there celebrating Tacky Terrorist Day. Yep, look at them, having a good time, living it up. I don't recall that when I was at Venice. We got some other people submitting them in here. Who's this? Look at that. Tacky Tourist. Gotta love it. Don't recall that. All right. There's the $300 million funding if you want to find it. And any of this stuff, you guys, if you go to my uncensoredreport.com and if you don't want to deal with Facebook, I've noticed it's been slow. It's real slow. It's dragging as you go down. You can go and just type in any of the words on my search bar on the top left, and it'll pull it up for you. So $300 million funding for approved last night to help improve the Florida's Gulf Coast. And this is something, if you're in Sarasota County, you've only seen on the scoop, because I aggregate the news, and I aggregated this from South County or South area down by Naples, so Fox 4. So this one, protester rally, this is Black Lives Matter, and that other group, what are they called? I think Suncoast Now or something like that. They got the yellow signs. They hate me. They're not a fan of me. A lot of people aren't fans of me. Not sure why, but they're they're doing a protest rally against Newtown incidences, and they're a little concerned with stuff that's happening out there. I posted this video. I think I was one of the first to put it out. We didn't have a lot of information. Basically, we don't know what happened. There was a different communication from what the police were saying as to what the individual in the house was saying. And then we got the video when the guy was on the ground, basically, at this point. So we don't know how he got there or what happened there. But basically, I didn't see anything wrong from where the video started. There's all kinds of accusations from I think it was his fiance. And the kids that were there, and the story just differed a lot from what the police were saying. This was a young lady, and we can listen briefly to this one if you guys want. Let me see if we're on the right screen. Yep, we can listen to this, and basically she's on there just talking about her kids and the concern that she had. And where did the video go? Did she take it down? Let's see. There it is. All right, we'll tell you could listen real quick.
We're currently at the Ellington Mall right now, and I just wanted to spread awareness that just be careful with your kids and never take your eyes off of them, not even for 1 second. We are at the Ellington Mall by Starbucks, and I had asked my daughter to throw away a piece of trash for me. The trash can was less than 50 feet away, and she went to go throw it away, and she came running back to me, and of course I wasn't watching her the whole time she threw away this trash. And she came to me and told me that a lady with a tan hat, a tan straw hat, and a black t-shirt, very, very dark skinned, tried to snatch her.
All right, so you can listen to it there. Tried to snatch her. She was obviously upset, as anybody would be. I believe this happened. She made this video after she talked to the police, and there's a couple comments. If you guys are on here, most of the commentary seems to come from the group versus here. I'm not sure why. All you got to do is at the top of the page, visit the group, click there, and I'll approve you to go in there once I get some kind of notification or I see it. Also, when you're in that group, you'll get notifications if you set it up. You just go to the top and say, notify me when there's a new post. And you'll get a notification when I post everything. Because right now, I can tell you since last year, I was getting over 600,000 people to my website. Facebook came in and changed the algorithms. And, last month, I think I had 300,000. So it has impacted it. And basically, they only want you to see 5 threads from me each day. And in some cases, I think they're shadow banning me, if you will, and it's not even getting that much. And I think I'm getting most of it because I'm able to utilize that group, which Facebook's pushing. So just some people have asked me how come I don't get your notifications anymore, and that's part of the reason why. They talked a little bit about Red Tide being gone and where has it gone, and somebody said, hey, who's this? Peg Pacini. I think she talked a second ago on here. That she was at the North Jetty and it smelled. I haven't been to the beach lately. I have no reason to go because I can't surf, and that's usually the only reason I go to the beach. Sometimes I'll go there for my cup of coffee. I didn't go last weekend, so no idea. I'm assuming the wind's howling out of the east, so I'm assuming there's not a smell. There might be some dead fish. As we all know, we had some dead manatees last weekend, over the weekend. Sarasota Promenade, I was supposed to talk to this lady and do an interview. I forgot. I don't think I ever followed up with her, and I haven't heard from her. They're still fighting. This is a whole Benderson thing, and they're concerned that the county doing the swap for River Road and will benefit Benderson, because I believe the city will begin the road by Promenade, and the city is, some feel, in favor of working with Benderson to get this Marriott and all this development going on out there at the Siesta Promenade. And so they're concerned about how some of these idiots like Moran and all these Mayo that are in the developer's pocket, that there's a ulterior motive behind it. How about this guy, this Bobcat, this spinal cord injury? I think when I shared this yesterday, I shared a picture from the actual video where it happened. They circled him as he was running in. I couldn't get the huddle video on there, but somebody at the Northport huddle Northport football team put on the huddle the actual tackle on the kickoff where he injured himself. So if you put the football player's name and type in huddle, HUDL, you can see the actual video. Not much to the video, to be honest with you. Sarasota Commission moving forward with the Bayfront project. One of the concerns was Mayor Albright. If you want to call in, 941-882-0146. She was concerned that the Wiz was not part of it. The Wiz is basically vacant, I believe, but she believes there's a historic value to it, and she's concerned that it's not part of this whole project as they move forward and start to come up with some of the financing for it. If you're in Sarasota or Northport, they got this night out against crime. I put Northport's on here too. This one's from Sarasota, and it says tomorrow, but this was from last night. It's actually 5:30 to 7:30. They're going to have K9 demos, emergency vehicles, junior SWAT challenge, child safety kits, face painting, free food, beverages, and more. Let me see. I could have sworn I put out. I didn't see Northport's yet. Maybe I put it out after this one, and I'll click on that in a second. Government surveillance. I just thought this was interesting. A lot of you guys don't follow this type stuff. This the kind of stuff I put on my national news, and sometimes I'll share them. But these little speed signs, you guys see them everywhere, where you'll drive up and it'll say, hey, you're speeding. It flashes. You're doing the wrong speed limit. They're actually in several areas, and I don't believe so here, but they're putting license plate readers on them so they can track your every move. And a lot of people are more and more concerned that it's infringing on our privacy. So here's the Northport one. Northport's night out is at 6 p.m. tonight, and they're basically doing the same fun stuff that the Sarasota Police Department is doing. Rob Merlino asked a good question there, and he's part of that Hands Along the Water group. And where are the test results? Over 10,000 water samples. Where are the test results? Where can we see them? I noted that the Florida, basically, you have these different entities in the Florida Health Department. They test our water for bacteria, for feces, with all these outflows, and it's like they do it like every 7 to 10 days, and then they'll put the results up. Like they put up the 26th, and they put it up on the 30th, I think it was, or the 1st. I can't even remember. And I'm like, well, how's it going to benefit me? It changes from day to day. I want to see it as it's happening, and you just don't get that kind of stuff. What's Peter say? Why referred to as naturally occurring red tide? This discounts all the man-made inputs that are fueling the coastal blooms. All right, and then this is the Michael Scott one. Yes, Michael Cecil one I was telling you about. It's the property along Border Road near Jackson Road. Pat and Neil planned on developing. It had been sold, and now will not be called the Woods. I didn't know this until Michael put it out. I was told he was facing large fines because he started land clearing before the permits were even done. and said fine, he will just sell it. Again, this is just what I heard. True or not, I found it's very ironic that the developer would destroy almost all the natural woods in the wetlands area and then name the development the woods. More raping of the land and more pollution to flow into our waterways. So some concern there. And that's the picture that Councilman Daniels saw. I don't know if he sent it. Well, I know he sent it on the email server, but I don't know if he was aware of it or not. And I think a lot of people probably weren't. The property was sold to Meritage Homes. Name will be changed to the Woodlands. That's according to Jen Brown there. What's this? The air toxins. Before this, I had a call in on my Sunday show, and Kurt, and he called in and said, what about the air toxins and who's testing for them? And he also talked about the water toxins and who's testing and all that stuff, and where's this transparency of this? And then after this, Wink ran a report, and on Wink they said that they went and they asked all these different, the counties and the states and federal, and nobody's testing the air. And this all corresponds with the couple individuals I had that were concerned about the air toxicity in regards to the schools, Venice Elementary and Venice High School, on the island when they're out there playing sports and stuff. With me, I had a concern about it too, because when it was bad in Northport, my mother had breathing issues. She's on oxygen, and it was right when red tide was being smelled like 20 miles, it seemed like, offshore. And she had to be rushed to the hospital. And it makes you wonder, why aren't we testing the air toxins to see what's going on, what's in the air? Why isn't anything being done about that? And I'll give this number out one more time because we're almost near wrapping it up. It's going to be 941-882-0146 if you want to call in before we wrap it up shortly here. There's Mike Ritter, and that's that whole fire department consolidation that I was telling you guys about. But as you can see, not a lot of interest on it. 127 clicks, reached just over 2,000 people. Just not a lot of interest in it. But then you go to something like this where scientists are stupefied over the fact that red tide may be aggravated by the Okeechobee. And there was, just under 5,000 clicks on that one. Who knows? This was a shark that was out playing in the Gulf. This was on Amory Island. We can look at it real quick. And he was basically flopping around out there. And someone took a picture. Not sure if he was disoriented or... Let's see.
Is this thing gonna die on us? Get back out there. Come on. Come on, get out there.
All right, let's see. What else we got here? Damien Powers, the guy takes some powerful pictures. Sarasota, they arrested this guy, fugitive apprehension of a criminal sex offender. Where was he tracked down in? God, I'm thinking Orlando. I don't remember from the article yesterday. USF looking at consolidating with Tampa. Some people have concerns about that, so they got a public meeting. You can find that on there. What is this? Teacher struggling with meningitis. One of those feel-good stories. Not a feel, meningitis is huge, especially like I used to wrestle wrestlers. God, what's the other sports? A lot of these sports, meningitis is, you see it all the time. All the different issues out there. What the trade war means, I was talking to a buddy, and basically they're saying that cars will be another $7,000, and they go through all these increased prices, and not just here, over in China. China, they always fudge their numbers in terms of how their country's doing financially. I don't think you can really believe it. It's all hyperinflated. But it's really becoming more and more noticeable, and a lot of people in China are starting to really get concerned. And the information of truth, basically, the Chicons said, hey, you can't put this out, and someone dissected the numbers. I think it was Peter Schiff that went through them all. Tibbles, and God, this guy, he had like 18 scholarships. Got busted last year selling cocaine. I had a ton of people from up in the Newtown area where he's from come on and call me a racist for putting it on, saying he's a nice guy, that it was all didn't happen, that the Sarasota police were lying. And lo and behold, they had a video of the incident. I believe I put it out. Then a couple months later, he was shot, I think, by an officer when they were breaking up a drug deal and guns were pulled. And then he was just arrested again yesterday or 2 days ago for selling cocaine. And it's how unfortunate that he chose a life of selling cocaine instead of taking one of those 16 or 18 scholarships he had for college football. So, horrible story. You know, back then I said I hope he gets his life turned around, but I think he's gone too far. This one is, if you could share it, it's if you want to go on and on my page, just type in justice served. You'll find it. It's that transgender gentleman that was killed in Northport a few weeks ago, and they're still trying to find the individual that killed him, her, and they need your help. There's actually a couple unsolved homicides in Northport. I shared something on Sunday, which you could probably do on the search bar Crime Stoppers, and it'll pull it up, and it had unsolved crimes in terms of burglaries and all kinds of stuff. And on there, I think, are 3 homicides that are still open. So that's it. That's everything out there. So it looks like no call-ins. That's always a good thing, you know, or it could be a bad thing. But that's it. If you guys enjoy it, let me know. If you don't, let me know. If you want me to cover national news, I kick butt on. I could talk about anything on national news. We could do that. And let's see if we got. They're looking forward to who else is looking forward to crab season? WWWSB just tweeted about that. I got to tell you, I don't think I'm looking forward to any crab. I will not eat any fish, crab, you name it, shell, anything that comes out of this Gulf water. It's kind of like when my wife went to the store one day, and she wanted to get some, I think it was shrimp. And she's like, okay, where's the shrimp from? And they said, Fukushima. She's like, you think I'm going to eat this shrimp from over in Fukushima? Are you crazy? What, are you trying to sell it here? And the guy didn't know what the big deal was. All right, everybody, this has been Frankie Abbruzzino with The Scoop, www.theuncensoredreport.com. Share this video. Click notification when it ends. You'll get notifications when I go live, because I don't go live at a set time or set day. And that's it. Everybody have a great day.